Have you ever felt an ache to reconnect with the past, only to wonder if some doors are better left unopened? What if I told you that certain places, certain people, no matter how much time has passed, still hold the power to break you again? There's a truth about life that few will tell you, at least not until it's too late. It's a lesson carved into your soul through heartbreak, betrayal, and the slow unraveling of trust. As you get older, no matter how free you feel, no matter how nostalgic you become, there are doors you must never knock on again, because some places from your past are not meant for healing. They are traps, waiting. And today, we're going to talk about the 4 types of people whose homes and hearts you must never re-enter if you truly value your peace, your dignity, and the life you are still fighting to build. Before we dive deeper into this important message, make sure you subscribe. Your growth deserves protection, and here, you'll find the wisdom to keep moving forward with strength and clarity. Number 1, those who have betrayed you. Betrayal is one of life's cruelest teachers. It doesn't just break your heart, it rewrites your understanding of safety, loyalty, and trust. When someone you once held close, a friend, a family member, a lover, chooses to betray you, it isn't an accident, it's a decision, a cold, deliberate weighing of options, where your pain was measured and dismissed. They chose what they wanted more than they chose you, whether it was money, status, power, approval, or even something as small as momentary satisfaction. They decided it was worth more than your dignity, your relationship, and your well-being. Time doesn't erase this choice. It doesn't soften it either. Time only clarifies whether someone regrets their betrayal or whether, given the chance, they would simply do it again. And here's the hardest truth. Someone who betrays you once has already shown you exactly who they are at their core. You don't need another demonstration. You don't need a second heartbreak. You don't need to reopen the door to a house that already burned you down once. When you revisit a betrayer's home, literally or figuratively, you send a silent message. What they did to you had no lasting consequences. That, despite the wreckage, you are still willing to pretend it never happened. And what does that do? It tells them they were right to disregard you. It gives them permission to do it again. Because people who betray are not often moved by guilt. They are moved by opportunity. If they sense that the door is still open, that forgiveness has arrived without accountability, they see no reason to treat you differently. Why would they? There were no consequences the first time. And the second time will cut even deeper. Because this time, you knew better. It's tempting to believe that time changes people, that pain teaches them lessons, that the years mellow hearts hardened by selfishness. But that is often a dangerous illusion. Time doesn't change character, it reveals it. And once someone has shown you they are willing to harm you for their own gain, you must believe them. The cost of disbelief is your peace, your dignity, and sometimes your future. I know it's hard, especially when the betrayer was someone you loved, when they were once your safe place, when they were once your home. But part of growing older, part of becoming wiser, is accepting this. Not every relationship deserves resurrection, not every betrayal deserves forgiveness, and not every door deserves to be opened again. Walking away doesn't make you bitter, it makes you free. It protects the most sacred thing you possess, your future self. The one who deserves a life built on respect, not ruin. And so, when the past comes knocking, when old ghosts whisper apologies, when nostalgia tempts you to revisit the ashes, remember this. Your loyalty to your own healing must be stronger than your loyalty to someone else's comfort. Because you deserve more than a second betrayal, you deserve peace. Number 2, those who live in misery and refuse to change. Misery is a strange kind of prison. Some people live inside it so long, they begin to mistake the cold walls for home. And the saddest part, they don't want to leave. Not really, because their sorrow has become their identity. You'll know these people when you meet them. Their words are heavy with bitterness. Their laughter, if it comes at all, is sharp-edged and hollow. Every conversation circles back to what went wrong, who hurt them, and why the world is so cruel. There is no curiosity for what could be, only endless mourning for what never was. At first, your heart will ache for them. You'll want to help. You'll offer solutions, encouragement, and hope. But over time, you'll realize something painful. They don't want to be helped. They want to be heard. They want witnesses to their suffering, not partners in their healing. When you step into the home of someone who clings to misery, you step into a heavy, toxic fog. The air is thick with complaints. Dreams cannot breathe there. Ambition wilts there. And if you stay too long, if you listen too deeply, you will begin to absorb their sorrow as your own. You may not even notice it at first. The shift is subtle. You start by sympathizing, then you begin to agree. And before you know it, their hopelessness has found a home inside you. Suddenly, your dreams feel foolish. Your plans feel impossible. Your optimism feels naive. They'll tell you they're being realistic, that they're just protecting you from disappointment. But what they are really doing is planting seeds of fear in soil that once grew hope. And here's the harsh truth. Misery loves company. And when miserable people see someone striving, someone hoping, someone daring to dream, they feel exposed. Your light makes their darkness more visible. And rather than facing their own stagnation, they would rather dim your flame to match their own. It's not always out of malice. Often, it's unconscious, a survival instinct. If I can't rise, they think, then neither should you. But regardless of intention, the effect is the same. Your spirit shrinks, your dreams wither, your energy drains away, bit by bit, until you are left wondering why you ever believed in yourself at all. That is why you must be ruthless with your boundaries. No matter how much history you share, no matter how much you love them, you cannot heal someone who refuses to leave their cage. You cannot save someone who has fallen in love with their chains. Offer kindness. Yes, offer hope, if you can. But if they refuse to rise, if they choose to stay buried in their bitterness, you must walk away, not because you are cruel, but because you must protect the most sacred thing you have, your mind. Because your mindset is not just about your happiness today, it's about your life tomorrow, and the day after that, and every future dream is still waiting to be born. Negativity is a slow, invisible poison. It does not kill in a moment. It kills over months, over years, over thousands of tiny moments when you choose to stay, to listen, to believe that hope is foolish. You are not obligated to drown beside someone who refuses to swim. You are allowed to protect your light. You are allowed to walk toward the sun. And sometimes, the most loving thing you can do, it is to leave the door of hope open behind you and walk through it alone. Number 3, those who refuse to see your growth. There's a quiet heartbreak that comes with becoming a better version of yourself, and realizing some people will never acknowledge it. They still see you through old, dusty lenses. They still speak to the person you used to be. They still treat you as if you're frozen in time, as if the battles you fought, the victories you earned, the lessons you bled for, never happened. At first, you may feel a deep ache to prove yourself, to show them how much you've changed, to be seen for who you are now, not who you were when you didn't know better. But here's the truth you must remember. Your growth is not up for debate. Your transformation does not need their permission. When you surround yourself with people who refuse to see your evolution, you are not just being underestimated. You are being anchored, held down, trapped in a version of yourself that you fought tooth and nail to leave behind. And the longer you stay, the heavier that anchor becomes. You'll hear it in their words. You're still the same old you. You'll never really change. I know you better than you know yourself. They don't say these things because they know you. They say that because they don't want to know you. Because if you have truly changed, they would have to confront the uncomfortable possibility that they have not. And growth, in the presence of stagnation, feels like a threat. They don't want to update their image of you because doing so would demand they update their image of themselves. It's easier for them to keep you small, boxed inside an outdated story where they knew where you fit, where they knew where they fit. But you have outgrown that story. You have outgrown that box. And it is not your job to shrink yourself to make someone else more comfortable. Every time you stay too long in the company of someone who refuses to see your growth, you risk internalizing their outdated image of you. You begin to doubt yourself. Maybe I haven't changed. Maybe I'm just pretending. Maybe I'm still that lost, broken version of myself. But hear me clearly. You are not the person you used to be. You are stronger, wiser, softer in the right places, harder in the necessary ones. You have earned your new skin with sacrifice, with courage, with lonely nights when you chose growth over comfort. You owe it to yourself to protect that evolution, to stand firmly in your new identity, even if it makes others uncomfortable, even if it means walking away from people who still speak to a ghost of who you were. Growth requires new ground. It requires space to stretch, to rise, to breathe. And sometimes, the only way to honor your journey, it is to close the door on those who are committed to misunderstanding you. You do not need to explain. You do not need to convince. You do not need to waste your precious energy trying to drag someone's perception into the present. Your new life will require new alliances, new conversations, new rooms where your evolution isn't just tolerated, it's celebrated. Because you deserve to be seen for who you are becoming, not endlessly shackled to who you used to be. Number 4, those who resent your growth. There's a subtle kind of danger far more corrosive than open betrayal. It doesn't shout, it whispers, it doesn't cut you once, it erodes you slowly, quietly, almost imperceptibly, until you start doubting whether you deserve to rise at all. And that danger comes from those who resent your growth. At first, they smile, they nod, they say all the right things. I'm so happy for you. You've come so far. I'm proud of you. But beneath the surface, something darker churns. They are not celebrating you. They are tolerating you. They are calculating how your evolution highlights their own stagnation. And they hate you for it. Even if they don't fully understand why, you'll notice it in the little things. The backhanded compliments, the sudden coldness when you share a win, the subtle jabs masked as advice meant to keep you grounded. The doubts they slip into your mind like poison in a glass of wine. It's great that you're trying, but don't get your hopes up. Be careful. You know how easily things can fall apart? Don't forget where you came from. These words are not love. They are fear. Fear that you are leaving them behind. Fear that your light will expose their shadows. Fear that if you grow, they will be forced to confront why they chose not to. And make no mistake, resentment is not passive. It acts, it sabotages, not always with grand betrayals, but with 1,000 tiny cuts designed to keep you small, cautious, and doubting. The worst part, because you once loved them, still may love them, you may let those cuts slide. You may minimize the way they downplay your dreams. You may tell yourself, they're just worried about me. You may even feel guilty for succeeding at all. But hear this clearly. Your growth is not a betrayal. Your success is not a sin. Your evolution is not something to apologize for. You are not responsible for managing other people's insecurities. You are not required to dim your light to soothe someone else's fear of the dark. True friends, true family, true companions will celebrate your wins without reservation. They will cheer for your growth even if they are still struggling with their own. They will love you enough to want you to rise, even if it reminds them of how far they still have to go. Anyone who resents your growth is telling you, loudly, if you know how to listen, that they cannot come with you to the next level of your life. And that's okay. Not everyone was meant to walk your entire journey. Some were only ever meant to walk a few steps beside you, teach you a few lessons, and then remain behind as you continue forward. It hurts. Yes, it always hurts to outgrow people you once thought would stay forever. But the greater tragedy is shrinking yourself to fit into spaces you've already outgrown. You must protect your dreams. You must guard your peace. You must honor the hard, painful, beautiful work it took to become who you are now. And that means sometimes it's you who must quietly, gracefully, but firmly close the door, not out of bitterness, not out of anger, but out of reverence for the life you are still building. You deserve relationships where your growth is celebrated, not tolerated. You deserve conversations where your ambitions are nurtured, not questioned. You deserve to rise without apology, and the ones who truly love you, the ones who are meant to stay, they will never, ever resent your flight. They will lift you higher. Goi Han Zhonglan 3, Ket Thuk's video. If this message spoke to a part of you that's been quietly aching for confirmation, make sure you subscribe. Here, you'll find the wisdom, the strength, and the quiet encouragement to keep rising, no matter who tries to hold you back. Number 5, those who make you doubt your own light. There is a rare and dangerous kind of influence that doesn't come from betrayal or resentment. It comes from subtle erosion, from people who, without even meaning to, cause you to doubt your own light, to doubt the very goodness, the very power, the very destiny that is quietly burning inside you. They may not be openly cruel, they may not speak words of jealousy or sabotage, they may even love you in their own limited way, but the effect is the same. You begin to shrink. You begin to question whether you are meant for more. You begin to ask yourself whether dreaming big was foolish from the start. These are the people who sigh when you share your ideas, who chuckle softly when you dare to speak of miracles, who shake their heads gently, as if they're saving you from your own naivete. They say things like, "Don't get too excited, be realistic. Life doesn't work that way." And while they wear the mask of concern, what they are really doing, it is projecting the limits of their own imagination onto your life. But hear me clearly, their inability to dream is not your destiny. Their fear is not your future. Their smallness is not your cage. You were born to rise. You were born to see what others are too afraid to imagine. You were born to stretch toward the life that whispers to you in your quietest moments. The one too big, too bold, too beautiful for small minds to comprehend. And the hard truth is this: you cannot keep your light burning bright if you continue to shelter it under the doubts of those too afraid to dream. Their fears will suffocate your fire if you let them. Their limitations will slowly become your prison if you stay too long. You owe it to yourself, to the child you once were, to the old soul you are becoming, to protect your light, to defend it, to feed it with hope and courage and relentless belief, because your dreams, your passions, your potential, they were not given to you by accident. They are a sacred trust, a silent contract between you and the life that called you here. And that contract demands that you choose your light, even when others cannot see it. It demands that you leave behind those who would rather dim you than dare to shine with you. It demands that you walk away, even from those you love, when their fear speaks louder than their faith. Because at the end of your life, you will not be judged by the doubts of others. You will be judged by whether you had the courage to become all that you were meant to be. So protect your light, fan its flames, build your life not around the smallness of others, but around the vast, unstoppable horizon calling you forward. The ones who are meant for you will recognize your light, and they will bring their own torches to walk beside you. But until then, walk brightly, walk boldly, and never apologize for how fiercely you were born to shine. As you walk through life, you will come to understand something that no book, no teacher, no experience could have prepared you for. Not every door deserves a second knock. Not every home is still a home. Not every person is still safe to love. The older you get, the more sacred your peace becomes, the more fiercely you must protect the ground you have fought so hard to stand on. There will be people who call you cold for walking away. There will be whispers that you have changed, that you have forgotten your roots. Let them whisper. Let them misunderstand. Because what they don't see, what they never could see, is the cost you paid to grow, the nights you cried yourself to sleep, the betrayals you survived, the battles you fought in silence, The old versions of yourself you had to bury just to make it here today, breathing and hoping again. You didn't come this far to shrink back into the past. You didn't come this far to reopen doors that were slammed in your face. You didn't come this far to be small or silent or trapped by anyone's fear but your own. You came this far to rise. You came this far to live. You came this far to build a life that reflects who you have become and who you were forced to be. So close the doors without apology. Step forward without regret. And remember, the future is never found in places that disrespect your past. You are allowed to grow beyond what once held you. You are allowed to outshine what once dimmed you. You are allowed to outgrow the people, the places, and the expectations that no longer fit the person you are becoming. Because this life, this one precious life is yours, and you deserve to live it fully, fiercely, and freely. If this message touched something deep within you, please subscribe to the channel. There are more insights, more strength, and more light coming your way, and I would love for you to be part of this journey.